Gang is sexy. We're 3 turns into the Army Group North campaign, and as I guess typical of the German breakout, you got to punch these armor divisions forward because you got to get across. You seriously need to get across the Divina River, all right? And the Divina River starts up there at Riga, okay, and rolls all the way down through. We're just going to call it Dowgie Town, and then goes out to the east there a little farther. So it was one of these things where if you can jump some Soviets, overrun, and get those panzers out as far as you can. So, of course, one of the things you're thinking about is the supply. But, so with supply, to keep units in general supply, if a unit goes out of supply from a supplied status, he goes into emergency supply, which he suffers no ill effects. But if he's still out of supply in the next general supply phase, then he goes to an actual out of supply state, which does have some effects. So you have what's called line of communication, and then you have road net and rail net. So a source is, the units need to trace to a supply source, which is usually the edge of the map or a major city or something like that. But you go 7 hexes, and you either need to hit a road net or you need to hit a rail net that goes all the way back to the supply source. The road net can extend 21 hexes from the supply or from a rail line, all right? And then from the unit to the tip of that thing can be no more than 7 hexes, all right? If you can't hit those, then you need to have an MSU nearby that units can draw supply from, and you end up having to burn the MSU. Okay, so for the breakout on the first, the Germans don't have to use any attack supply points. So it's just hit everything you possibly can with the units that are on the border and then move as far as you can. So as you can see, the border, we started down here along the border, all right? I gotta get that bridge unit. I forgot to do that, as a matter of fact. Take that off because I'm going to move it. And then, all right, there were victory locations. Now, the Germans have taken 2 that are worth a few points, which I need to mark up. They took this Luale, and they took Kaunas, which was very important. They took Kaunas on this last turn, turn 3. And then this port over here, they have not taken this yet, but they knocked out 2 of the 3 units that were in there. I read through some of the designer's notes on strategy and everything about pulling back and actually setting up the defensive line. They say don't do it along the Divina, but do it farther back, maybe in this area here along Scoff and then up. Yeah, I don't know. I like this area along the Divina because it's a smaller area. The Germans trying to cross these things. Now, so my initial strategy was to take the Soviets, first chance I got, and they can't do a whole lot of moving, as you can see, and start pulling them back towards the Divina. For Germans to cross the motorized units until stuff gets frozen, which is not going to happen in June and July, they have to have a bridge to cross a major river. And the Divina is a major river all the way around. And there are only 1, 2, 3 crossing areas. So my idea was to get into those blocking points of those crossings with the Soviets. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I'm trying to... There are a lot of the troops they had out to the east and the north were under a 2-game turn delay. So they're now released and they're doing their thing, but none of it's potent. The Soviets, other than what's on the reinforcement track, they don't get to use replacements until, I think it's game turn 30. So it's a long way before they can start, or not. Is it game turn 30? Let me see. It is not. It is game turn... where'd it go? I was just looking at it just a little while ago. Game turn. Well, it's one of these, but it's a long ways away. It's marked on the turn record tracker. Everybody got to identify the letter. I think the letter's C or something like that. So the only thing they get is what's going to be on the supply track. And without replacement points, they can't rebuild stuff over in the cavalry in the eliminated box, okay? So nothing for them. The Germans, they start with, I think it's 5 infantry and 2 armor. They've only taken, I think, 2 casualties, 2 step loss casualties from some of their very, very large infantry divisions, which any of you who play this game, they know that those frontline German troops have massively sized infantry divisions compared to the Soviet ones. The reinforcement track for the Germans is where they've only got 1 reinforcement track or 1 scenario setup card, and they start drawing right off the bat on turn 2 and then turn 3, turn 4, and so forth down the line. Air has now come in. I'll eventually show y'all how I do my air solitaire, but there was no Russian air to counter it, so it didn't get used. I did try to do 2 interdictions with the air, but that was a failure. Both units, one got aborted and one got damaged, so they went back to the chart without affecting anything on the map. Don't know how much it matters. Probably should have used them for close air support, but their cast strengths, 2 of them had just a cast strength of 1, and the other one had a 0. So, and dummy me wasn't paying attention and decided to use the 2 with that actually have a cast strength to do interdiction when I should have used the other one. All right, so let's see if we can't get a little bit of a closer look in here. Let's go down here on this road here. So where you see all this stuff right in here, that's Kaunas, which was a high priority target. And since I decided as the Soviets to pull back anyhow, I did get most of the units out. I left a delaying force in there, which the Germans handily took care of. So this intention is you've got 2 major thoroughfares. That's one of them right there. Going over here to Doggy Town, all right? There's 2 bridge crossings right there going into that 1 hex. I'm trying to get some motorized stuff out and around, but it's when you're moving through these crappy Soviet roads, if you're on a trail or a minor road, it's fine until you hit woods or marsh or something, then it sort of slows you down a little bit. But I need to get to that crossing. I need to open up this road network. I need to open up this rail line right here, which I wasn't paying attention because I have not moved a rail marker down that way. So, and there's this rail line splits. So I got to get something going that way on the rail line because that road network, if I get the rail line to here, it's only 21 for the road net going out that road there. And that's 21 hexes, not 21 movement points. All right, middle of the battlefield. Let's see what's going on here without messing anything up. So the Germans blew out quickly and grabbed that town. All right, I think that was on turn 2 they took that. Might even be turn 1, I can't remember now. That was turn 2. And now they're headed towards Riga, and you can see they're already there. All right, so as far as rail and road net for general supply, on the next general supply phase, all the Soviet units on this side are going to be cut out of their general supply. I got to read the naval part of this to make sure I can't use them. That's, you know me, I don't like anything on the water. I don't like to play stuff in the air unless it's close air support. So, but on the next general supply phase, I will be checking that with the rules. On the coast, well, like I said, they hit this port over here. They need to take it because it's victory points, and they will. They have more than enough forces to deal with that. And I've already got motorized stuff moving up this way to sort of get in contact with these other little locations up here, which I think these are. No, that's not a port. That's the coastal gun. And that is a port right here. And there's a port over here. So, you know, they can get on a ship and be evacuated if I can get a ship down there, but the Germans have some ships that are going to show up here soon too. So it's been 3 turns of just let's get out and run. And that's what the Germans have done. Like I say, this reminds me of playing, like I say, Gergie's War in the East. I'm already smacking Riga in the face, 3rd turn. I think in War in the East, I can actually get up there with some of the motorized stuff and hit it on the 1st turn and take it. Playing that game, the original one. I don't know about the newer one. I've got it, never played it. And these units in here with the headquarters, which I need to figure out how to get him out of there, and I don't think that's going to happen now. They have delayed this Panzer division here and this motorized division. So, but I got some SS boys that are on the run. I got a motorized infantry division on the run over here. Maybe try to cut off some of this stuff here. But like I said, you got to push to these. You got to push to the Divina, because if you can't Now granted, I know the infantry can roll up in there, and you've got one bridge marker, which the Germans will get up on that Davina River eventually to get a place to get across. But without that thing, the infantry, non-motorized units can cross, but it takes their entire movement. They have to start adjacent, they move across the river, and their movement's over. They burn their entire movement, so for one full turn. So you're going to burn a turn crossing unless you take these bridges and get across these bridges. All right, so that's where we stand right now. The Germans have, let's see, they have 4 victory points. I think they're going to have 2 more here. That'll give them 6 victory points in the first 3 game turns. If they take the city over here on the coast, that'll probably push it to 8. And I don't know what Riga is. Riga is a nice little chunk too. Because this is a port here, and this again where the naval's going to come in. I'm going to have to figure this out. This thing can become a supply source for the Germans, I believe. So, all right, but like I say, you got main thoroughfare going towards Riga, which you need to get open, and you need to push the rail line up to there. And then you got the one going towards Daug over there, and you need to get this rail line running to the east. You need to get that clear so the Germans can get supply to those river crossings, and then push on towards Skoff, which is way up yonder. Skoff is way up right there. And then Tallinn is way up here. All right. Don't necessarily know how important Tallinn's going to be in the outlook of this game, but the defendable area up there in the Skoff region is much smaller. So the Soviets can build a better line. Then above the lake up there, above Lake, what is it, Pipus, would be another smaller area that they could defend. All right, so Army Group North, GMT, Barbarossa, Vance von Borgie's game. Love this system. That's 3 turns in. And we'll let you know in another 3 or 4 turns what's going on, how far the Germans get. See if they can get these river crossings. All right, talk to y'all soon.